They told her of a safe place where Christians can come together, a place where the bond that was made would stand strong forever. But she was different. She wasn't like the others. She was given a gift and they didn't need another. So when she stood and tried to fit in, that's when it all fell apart. They pushed her to the side. They pushed her in the dark. But really, in the end, she held more light than they could understand. Eventually, they needed her sight. They needed a helping hand because it was her who stood alone and listened to what God was saying while they stood in their groups, eyes open while praying. He spoke of what they could be and what they should do, but it all became a game and they had no clue. She never understood why they put her God to shame, so she stood and grew stronger with a smile upon her face. And she got up and left the place that they called safe and walked into a world that was never meant for grace. She tried and tried to figure it out all on her own. Instead, they was pushed and thrown in a world that was never meant for her own, and she was meant to be guided by the leader on the throne, and no one took her in. She was different from their own. She didn't look the same or play the game. She didn't even say the things in the way that she should before their names, and she knew who she stood before when the times were coming near. She knew who she lived for, and it wasn't them she feared. So she stood alone in the corner and prayed to God above to see why she was different, or why this place she was not of. The places they told her that she should probably go, or the ways that she should say the things, the ways that she should grow. Instead, they pushed her to the side and said she was different. Instead of bringing her up and showing her how her difference made her gifted. And him and him alone, he's the one who grew her. He's the one that took her in and showed her what she already knew that she could do, but instead she listened to their voices. And as they placed over in her head and told her that she made the wrong choices, but did she? Are you her creator? Are you the one who gave her life? Or are you just different and it makes you mad that she doesn't live your life? She doesn't stand on the pedestal and say the things she's supposed to. Instead, she does what I tell her to. That's what God was trying to show you. But instead, you push her to the side and whisper she's different. But eventually, you'll wish that you had only listened to the words she had to say and the strength she had inside her, instead of pushing her deeper below and making her lose her guidance that you should have given her, because you were all Christians. You were the ones that they said that she should listen to. Instead, you gave her nothing and broke her into pieces, and he had just mended. So I stood in the same place that you all stood before, and I stood in the altar and cried, but nothing came anymore. Because I didn't fit in. I wasn't pretty or fixing my hair and makeup every day, but the girls who stood before me, they all looked the same way. They never got the word. I felt like I was confused. I saw them cry every year, but they never seemed to choose to change their life and be different. Yet I stood all by myself in the corner of my seat and never showed myself, because you broke me and made me who I am today, and I thank you for that. But you should have picked me up, because I was all the way in the back. The one who didn't fit in. I wasn't from this place. I sat in a Baptist church that preached and silence was the only way. But when I came here, I was excited for the love that God that you all showed. But as I looked deeper, it was darkness that began to grow. And it worried me, and I prayed every day. But I still saw the same people in the very same place. I'm not perfect, don't get me wrong. I've made my mistakes. I went through high school and college, and I didn't do it the right way. I moved for things, people. I did drugs and drank. And I did everything they told me not to, and that's not even what made me break. It was the people, not the drugs and things, not any of that. I knew those were wrong from the start. That was a fact. But it was the people that I respected that I thought would bring me through it, instead pushing me to the side and didn't care if I didn't make it through it. They didn't care that I lived alone and learned to basically do it on my own. Instead, they worried what pedestal they would be put on. They cared only about the greatness that they had inside of them. They wanted to visual for you to see the pride they had within. Now some are married and happy all together in their places, but remember, God had promises and He will never break them. So tell me I'm crazy, I'm different. Tell me you don't want to listen, but it's every one of you that knew that you thought I was different, and I am. You are correct. God has made me for something greater, and when you think I haven't made it, I point to my Creator, for He has made me, not you or you or you. My God has made me greater, gave me strength to make it through. So cry and make it seem like you wish you had been there, but you weren't. You never called, you never prayed, you never knew what I was worth. So some of you don't even know my name, but I stood before you countless times. I can call you out, but it's not my place nor time, for God will do those things, and you all know who you are. God is the one who calls justice. I'm just giving you the start to the truth He is telling you this whole entire time. You keep coming to my altars, and I'm giving you the same signs. Do you want to hear the same things over and over like a mother to a child? Don't touch that, don't eat that, as the rules upon you pile. These are the many things I've told you, yet you come the same way, claiming not this year, but next year I'll go ahead and get saved. But that's not how it works anymore. This time is coming quickly, and you may not have next year. You don't know when time is ending, and you don't know what's all coming near, so I'm telling you, listen, if not me, then to your God. He's calling you and telling you He's no longer calm. He's watched you cry and wiped your tears and understands that you love Him, but do you care enough to give your life over to Him? Are you just playing games that He's already seen through? Don't you understand He made you? See, that's what you don't get. You think you can keep playing, but God knew every piece and each card without you even saying. So if you think you won over on Him, try again. He's already through. If you don't want to be a part of Him, He'll step out of you, and that's the scariest thought that could ever be. Not being pushed aside or being broken too many times, but when God says, you know me not, I'm stepping out of line. Until you figure out where I am and how strong I am, I'm the one who made you. I'll stand to the side because I'm different. I don't fit into your line.